feeling cold against your skin. Running through the chaos, letting all the sin. Temptation in a bottle, ready for the night. Craving for the thrill, it's time to ignite. Dark desires burning bright, echoes in the dead of night. No retreat, no looking back on this heart attack.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, how are you? Good to be back. An early show today because we've got this sentencing update for you from the Ballarat Magistrates Court with the sitting of the Supreme Court for Lachlan Young. So Lachlan Young has been sentenced, and I will run you through what happened today. Very early show today, early show. And I don't know if it was what we expected or not, but look, it's a result. It's look, I'll tell you about it in a minute. But you guys have heard a lot about Lachlan Young since I have been doing this show. We've covered the trial earlier this year, we covered the guilty plea during the trial, and now we have the sentencing. And I think the last one we did was the preliminary hearing a couple of weeks ago, and now we have him sentenced. So I'll quickly run you through the sentencing, then we'll go into some more details about what happened. It is 28 years on the top end, 22.4 years non-parole period. So the Justice Elliott, says in his remarks at the end of the session today, he said here that he would have given a 30-year sentence with a 24-year non-parole period had Lachlan Young gone to trial and pleaded not guilty and gone through the whole trial, been found guilty. He would have been given that sentence, so about 30 years and then 24 years. The sentence he got today, 28 years and 22.4 non-parole. So he got a slight discount, but the justice did not give him very much. Some of these discounts that you can get for pleading guilty can be quite substantial, like 5 years, more than that, 8 years. But I think Justice Elliott was unimpressed that one of the things about pleading guilty early is that you save people the hassle of having to go to trial. The family doesn't have to go and relive the evidence. People don't have to go through evidence giving, whether it's in pre-trial or at the actual trial. And if you plead guilty early enough, you save family, prosecutors, a lot of people, a lot of time and effort. Lachlan didn't do that. That's why his discount was so small. It's very tiny discount. Family seemed, I'm guessing, happy. They sort of yelled out like, yes, like at the end of the sentencing today when they read it out and it was told to Lachlan what he was getting. So I would have to take it that they're okay with it. They're saying, "Hey, good to see. Hey, Steam Siren. I appreciate it. I appreciate it." Denny said, "How you feeling?" Still a little under the weather, still a little down, but getting better. So that is your big update from that. So 24 years. Yeah. So he says here, Justice Elliott says, but for your plea of guilty, if you had been found guilty of murder after pleading not guilty, I would have imposed a sentence of 30 years imprisonment with a non-parole period of 24 years. He says here, taking each of the matters referred to above, so these are a whole bunch of things he outlined. I'll tell you a few of them in a minute. He says, taking each of the matters referred to above into account, including those in your favor, and balancing the factors set out in the Sentencing Act as best I am able to. He says, for the murder of Hannah McGuire, I sentence you to 28 years imprisonment. I fix a non-parole period of 22 years and 4 months imprisonment as the period you must serve before you become eligible for parole. He'll also have 590 days of pre-sentence detention. This will be applied to the sentence. So it's like time served in America is what they call it over there. We call it pre-sentence detention, and they take it into account just like they did with Aaron. They are doing it in this one. So after a very long wait, I mean, we waited since July to now in November to find out what exactly Lachlan will be sentenced with. Well, now we know he's going to be in his early 40s. So he'll be Ping's age. He'll be my age by the time he's eligible for parole. So round the age I am now. And yeah, so he'll still be a fairly young guy. They were talking today saying his prospect for rehabilitation was good, and that because he had a work ethic, because he had a job and he had some education and training for his job, that when he left prison later in his life, many years later, that he would have some prospect of being able to support himself, get it, follow his career again. So they seemed like that might help. They also said that because he did not have very much mental health support throughout his time, that there might be some hope of him getting some help, which would help him with the way he deals with things, with his violence, the way he treats other people, not just women, but other people in general. And then, yes, and women and partners as well. So they're saying that it's possible he might be able to overcome some of the issues that he has at this young age. Is that true? I don't know. I'm not a psychologist or psychiatrist. I have no idea. But that is what they were talking about today. I want to read here. Yeah, let's go up here. I want to read you a little bit about what they were saying today in the sentencing remarks here. They talk about here that Lachlan faced many difficulties and that he would often take off from the family home and go missing for weeks at a time. And they say that he moved around quite a bit, moved to live with some other family members in South Australia, and then stayed in contact with friends back in Ballarat. He said when he returned to the area later on, they said he continued his carpentry apprenticeship in February of 2024. So they're saying he had some hope of continuing to have a job, not be uneducated in that way. He's got a trade that he could fall back on. Let's see here. They talk about how his young age is a factor to be considered in Lachlan's favor. And Justice Elliott goes on to say, but the extent to which that is so necessarily diminished by countervailing factors relevant to the nature and seriousness of your offending. So they say while age is a plus in his side of the column here for mitigating circumstances, it's sort of outweighed by how severe his crime was. And they talk about the abuse that Hannah suffered, the calculating way he tried to hide his offending, the whole burning the car, taking Hannah's phone, pretending to be Hannah, trying to mask the murder to be an S word. So we can't say it on YouTube, but you guys know the word I am talking about. And they said this went along in the negative column. So they're saying that him being very conniving in his sort of covering up his crime. But they're saying here that according to the sentencing remarks, while not publicly saying this to people, he did say to his sister that he was very sorry for what he had done, and that he often, when they had time together while he was in custody, often spoke about how much he regretted what he'd done and had shown remorse, but seems to be only to her. Seems to be like he didn't really express it to the, in my, well, just my personal opinion, the right people. Think you would want to express it to the people that you took Hannah from, not your, I mean, your own family is your family, but they're not her, she's not their daughter. And I would have thought that, yeah, you could express what you've been telling your sister to them too. I know maybe they don't want to hear it from him, but at least that would have gone some way to putting it more in a public domain, his remorse for what he's done. They talk about here today in the sentencing remarks how the court has been seeing a lot of DV type cases, and how they're just sort of like, yeah, Justice Elliott says here, time and time again over many years, this court has articulated its intolerance of DV and the need for stern punishment to be administered to the disaffected. They say to administer to disaffected partners, ex partners, or would be partners who engage in such conduct. As an extension of this, bringing violence into the sanctity of a home is abhorrent and must be denounced in the strongest terms. Outbursts of rage towards a vulnerable and trusting domestic partner are totally unacceptable, and your sentence must make this plain. So they're saying that the court does not does not basically entertain this type of crime at all. That they want to make a really big sort of statement that we have to sort of get rid of this out of our communities. And one of the ways we can show the community that is by giving the strongest sentences that the court can. And it's one way of trying to detract from this horrible DV scourge that is sort of taken over everything. We read hundreds of cases like this a year. This one being one of the more prominent ones, but we've read some that are smaller, some that are just as, media wise how big they are, but they all matter, and they be nice to see a reduction in them, not an uptick. So yeah, the court's saying that they just uh, don't want to give short sentences to sort of g- give people the idea that, hey, if I kill my partner, I'm only going to spend like 10 years in jail and I'm going to be out in less than 10. So, no, Lachlan Young's got to spend almost 23 years in prison for his crime. And that's if he gets parole. There's no guarantee he will get it at 22.4 years in jail. There's no guarantee. He could go up for parole and they could deny it. And then he's got to go all around that loop of parole again. So it could be years before he even gets a taste of outside back into the public. So it could be a long time. Let me see here. What else do we have here for you? Hmm. So Justice Elliott talks about the final moments of Hannah McGuire's life. And he says here, about 1:45 a.m., Lachlan and Miss McGuire started arguing about the relationship breakdown between them. About 5 minutes later, Hannah sent a photo of herself to a friend who worked night shift. The image showed that she was lying on a bed, visibly upset with tears in her eyes. The friend replied that there was no need to cry. Miss McGuire did not respond, which was unusual. That message was not opened on Miss McGuire's phone until 2:37 a.m. in the morning. Just before 2:30 a.m., they're saying here the argument between Hannah and Lachlan escalated and became physical. Hannah went into the bathroom. They're saying that Lachlan followed her. You started pushing and shoving her before throwing her to the bathroom floor. You then put your hands around her neck and strangled her for some time, with the consequence that Miss McGuire lost consciousness and died on that bathroom floor. At 2:53 a.m., Lachlan called Mr. O'Keefe, we've heard about him before, and told him to meet him in 10 minutes at the corner as previously arranged. At 3:03 a.m., Mr. O'Keefe attended as Lachlan suggested, but returned to his home when Lachlan failed to arrive. They're saying here Lachlan had been calling him on his phone, but he had left his phone at home and those calls went unanswered. Sometime after 3 a.m., Lachlan put the body of Miss McGuire into the rear passenger footwell of her car, which was parked in the rear of their property that they once shared together. So that was that home that they bought together that Hannah never really wanted. It was more that Lachlan wanted that home, but Hannah did not. They're saying here Lachlan later used his phone to delete footage from the CCTV cameras to conceal what had been depicted in those cameras. They're saying they drove from the property in Miss McGuire's car to meet with Mr. O'Keefe, and they're saying once he arrived at Mr. O'Keefe's property, Lachlan honked his horn, and Mr. O'Keefe came out and they talked. Mr. O'Keefe did not see Miss McGuire's body in the vehicle, as it was in the rear footwell of the car and out of view. They're saying you asked Mr. O'Keefe where he should take the car. Mr. O'Keefe responded that he did not know, and then Lachlan told him to follow him. And they're saying that Mr. O'Keefe got in his car, followed Lachlan. Again, he left his mobile phone behind at his home. Lachlan also left his phone behind at his home. Lachlan had Hannah's phone with him during that trip. They drove approximately 15 minutes to Scarsdale. By this time, Lachlan had already decided to lie and create a false trail about how it was that Miss McGuire had died. At 3:27 a.m., Lachlan sent a message from her phone to uh, basically he sent a message from Hannah's phone to his own phone saying I'm not coming. So trying to make an alibi here that Hannah was never going to go to his home. She was not there. They saying once they were in some bushland, Justice Elliott says you stopped about 300 meters from an intersection and spoke to Mr. O'Keefe. You asked him if you should torch Miss McGuire's car or dump it. Mr. O'Keefe said that it should be dumped because otherwise a bushfire might be started. Mr. O'Keefe watched as you drove Miss McGuire's car into some trees at low speed before getting out. You told Mr. O'Keefe to turn his car around, which he did. However, he continued to watch you in the rearview mirror and saw you holding a yellow colored blowtorch to the front seats of the car. You did this for a few minutes to ignite the car before walking to Mr. O'Keefe's car and getting into the passenger seat. You sat there for a short while and then handed Mr. O'Keefe $45. They then departed the scene, leaving the car engulfed in flames and Miss McGuire's body in the back of it to be incinerated. And I think we've heard about this before. Once Miss McGuire's body was retrieved from that car, what was left of the car, it had experienced severe thermal effect. Her remains only weighed 13 kilograms when they were recovered from the vehicle. and they say there was no soot in her airways, meaning she was not breathing at the time of being in the fire, meaning she was already dead before that fire was lit. They're saying here her cause of death was not able to be determined during autopsy examination. So there you go. That is the final moments of that. Laurie says, if strangled, how s? It's not. It was a cover story. So he strangled her in the bathroom of the home they once shared together. The S word thing is it was him trying to cover up the crime that he had done. So he had been messaging Hannah's mother saying all these strange things from Hannah's phone, saying things like, "Oh, I've ruined my life. How could Lachlan? Lachlan will never take me back. I've screwed it all up." Basically, trying to make out as if she was in a distressed point of time because Lachlan wouldn't touch her, because Lachlan wouldn't have her back, and was trying to make it seem like she was on a mental health spiral at the time, and it's just not true. So he was doing this after he had already killed her, put her into the vehicle, and taken her out and set the car alight. So he was saying all these things via text message from Hannah's phone to her mom, basically in the middle of the night. Laurie says, "How do they know that though?" Well, he pleaded guilty, and I think part of it is his version of events or his um, I can't think of another word right now, but basically his claim to what happened. So that's what he is saying. I don't think we'll ever fully know if they can't determine the cause of death. We have to take, I guess, like a lot of crimes that we read about, a lot of trials that we read about, sometimes the only person that gives us any information is the perpetrator. So other other than that, we'll never know. We'll never know whether what he's saying is 100% true. Yeah, we'll never ever know because he's the only one standing. He's the only one left here. I don't know. I'm not a pathologist, Sean. I have no idea how they would do that with only 13 kilo left of her. I didn't even know that was possible. I thought you would have to have someone who was um, not in a fire, but they do some. I mean, I guess humans are like a huge percent water, right? So even if you were in a fire, maybe there would be a lot enough left. But I don't want to be too gross because I feel like that's very disrespectful. Um, like you would dehydrate in the fire. I think because your water would evaporate due to the heat, and we are made up of like a lot of water. So I don't know if that's how it works. Like you would dehydrate, but you would still be somewhat intact. But yeah. Rachel said, sadly, we only know what he has said. Yeah, we will never know for sure. I don't I d- I don't give him any credibility in what he says about what took place. We've seen it in crimes before. Perpetrators, no matter what situation they're in, no matter what plea deal they have, no matter what plea they have given the court, they will always frame things to put them in the best sort of uh, place they can be. They'll always do that. So they'll always position what they say, the ideas they give people, because there's no one to counteract their argument. So, of course, they're going to leave things out. They're not going to tell the truth 100%. They're only going to give just enough to satisfy the court, the plea, whatever. They are not going to give you at least I don't believe so. Penguin said, "Hi, everyone." Hey, Penguin, good to see you, my friend. Happy to have you. Yeah, good to have Penguin back. I think, let me check if I got anything else. A night return. Yep, that's okay. We have talked about that before. Nothing that I need to tell you. This is interesting. Going back to before Hannah's murder, on the 24th and 25th of March 2024, Lachlan sent several text messages to Hannah. In one of them, he stated that he would set rules for himself if the relationship was to continue, namely, no drinking during the week, a date night once a month. Lucky girl, once a month? Jeez, once a month, hey? It's a lot of effort, hey? Once a month. And most importantly, no swearing or taking anger out on Hannah, no being violent or yelling or arguing. It's like a child made this up. It's like a child came to you and did something naughty, and you sent them to the naughty corner, and you're like, you go to the naughty corner and you tell mummy what you did wrong and how you won't do it again in the future. And he's come up with these reasons. They're not very insightful, and they show to me a very immature view of a relationship and how you could try and work through the issues that he has done to Hannah. Yeah, they just show a very immature view of the world, relationships, abuse, what are the things psychologically he could do to fix those things. Like, I don't read anywhere here in these things that he was telling Hannah about how he would be better. I don't see any insight here to what he had done to her. Like, that's what a more mature person, someone that could see that, would give you. They wouldn't just be like, I will not drink during the week and I will go on a date with you once a month. And most importantly, I won't swear anymore, and I won't be taking any anger out on you, and I won't be being violent, yelling, and no arguing. They're very yeah, simplistic and lack insight into why he did it in the first place. Like, I feel like they were very young, both of them, but if you were a couple that were actually trying to mend a relationship, wouldn't you try and find out the things that would uh, trigger these things in the first place instead of trying to smooth it over with, "Hey, no date. Take you on a date night. I will stop swearing and arguing." Like, they almost seem unrealistic as well. It's Montana says admitting not his first act of violence with her. Admitting not his first act of violence with her. Yes. I'm just going to agree with you. Yes. Yeah, so that was before. I'm just trying to see if we have something else here. So, a few days later, on the 28th of March 2024, Hannah saw a solicitor with her dad. She gave a history of unsatisfactory behavior during her relationship with Lachlan. She also instructed that she wanted to remove you as a beneficiary in her will. So Justice Elliott is saying that when she saw this solicitor a few days after that text message about being better, she wanted to remove him as a beneficiary should anything happen to her. It's amazing how many times we've read or seen people almost foresee something happening to them. We've seen it, if you want to go to another famous case, Laurie Vallow. Laurie Vallow's husband removed Laurie from the life insurance and put it in his sister's name just before he was killed. Hannah went to a solicitor and tried to get, I don't know if she did, but that she wanted to remove Lachlan as a beneficiary should anything happen to her. So it's amazing how many of these very unfortunate victims of terrible DV type crimes, how many times they almost see it and they know something bad is happening and they just can't get out of it. It's awful. Hey guys, give me a second. This cold is I gotta get a drink. Hold on. All right, we're back. We're back. We're back. Laurie says, were they married? No, they were not. Laurie says, I never had a will with a boyfriend. Well, they had a home together and their relationship had progressed to that point. So, I mean, they shared a asset together. I mean, maybe you would write a will for that reason. Like, should I die, my assets, like my home, would go to my partner. Something like that. I would think maybe, especially when you own a property like in that, in that way, where they are both equal parts of the mortgage. They're saying here that Lachlan's legal or counsel submitted that it was significant that Hannah was telling people the relationship with Lachlan was over, but at the same time, she was still secretly communicating with you and seeing you on occasion. And Lachlan informed the court through his counsel that the absence of a clean break in the relationship and the on and off again situation caused him difficulty and resulted in him being frustrated. Well, okay. I mean, sure. Uh, so Justice Elliott says here, intimate relationships ceasing in both uncomplicated and complicated ways is part of ordinary human experience and must be handled by those involved without any violence. Miss McGuire's behavior in the days leading up to her death does not give any premise to find the existence of any mitigating factor in this regard. There you go. Very strong statement from Justice Elliott, basically saying no matter the situation with a breakup, you can't blame that for your offending because everyone in life, no matter who you are, male, female, you're straight or gay or whatever, trans peoples, octopus people, they all go through the same experience when they go through a breakup. They may be slightly different, they may happen in different ways, but it you can't blame that for killing someone. You can't be like, "Wow, we broke up, so I decided to kill him." Like it's not. And he's trying to say that's not how we deal with things in life, and you can't then turn that around and be like, "Well, that's why I killed her." I want to present to court a mitigating circumstance. She made me frustrated because she was talking to me after we broke up. I feel like that should be a plus in my column. No, you can't, you know. Can't do that. And they're saying here, yeah, whatever emotions or mental state you may have experienced because Hannah continued to have some contact with you or may have even given mixed messages to you provides no basis to consider your responsibility or culpability is somehow reduced. That's right. And I think that's a very strong message in Justice Eliot's sentence here that it's not okay to go and then blame it, basically blaming the dead woman for your offending, saying, "Hey, she made me upset when we broke up." It works both ways. She was probably upset about the breakup too, but she didn't go out and kill you. So it's a not something the court would accept as a reason or a mitigating factor here. They say here that I'm just trying to see if we have anything else that we. Yeah, I'm gonna go up here. Let's see if we have anything else for you. They talk about here some of the things that Hannah went through, and I think it's important to highlight it and not shy away from it. And Justice Elliott says here, your abuse of Miss McGuire involved physical abuse. He also says it included other types, emotional, um, psychological as well. But the physical abuse is what this part is based on. Justice Elliott says, although there is no evidence of any physical assault before March of 2024, you accept that on the 17th of March 2024, you kicked and punched Miss McGuire in an altercation. Whether or not it was you who broke it, it was during this altercation that the necklace Miss McGuire was wearing was broken. The confrontation resulted in Hannah being fearful and scared. The assault you inflicted caused Miss McGuire to send a Snapchat message to a friend of hers complaining of your assaults. So basically, complaining that she's being attacked by her partner during that time. They're saying here these physical assaults and the accompanying abusive behavior were the last straw for Hannah McGuire. She decided to end your relationship, consistent with your previous responses to her attempting to leave you. You did not make it easy for her to do so, quite the contrary. So, yeah, there you go. Justice Elliott basically calling it out for what it is, that he did everything in his power to try get her to stay in this relationship that very quite clearly she didn't want to be a part of any longer. Yeah, we also on the 19th of March 2024, Miss McGuire could tell from your Snapchat account that you were in another location, Echuca. She took the opportunity to go to the property with her parents to retrieve some of her property. She got into the home by climbing through a window. Once inside, she could see that the front door had been barricaded by a couch. Who does that? Who does that? Barricades their home with a couch. Are you a bikie? Do you own many motorcycles and wear a patch on a jacket? Do you have a giant clubhouse that you have to fortify the entrance of it? Because that's what they do. They fortify their clubhouses so when the cops come and the Raptor squad comes and tries to break down their doors, it's fortified. Why would you try and fortify your home, by the way, that Hannah owns part of, with a couch just because you are away for a few days? What are you scared of? Is she going to steal all your Spider Man underwear? Is that what she's going to do? I don't think that's what she's going to do. I think she probably would have just took her property and left. So, um, a very childish thing to do. I see a theme running through here: immaturity and very childishness about a lot of different parts of the things he did to Hannah, like putting a couch in front of the front door so she couldn't get in while he was away. Ridiculous. Sorry about that. I wanted to cough and I was like, I don't want them to hear it. They don't need to hear that. What do I say here? Hmm. They go into some more of the things that happen. I think I've read a lot of these out to you in the past. So Hannah even reached out to people. Um, she told a business manager at the school where she worked that Lachlan was being very aggressive and was threatening to come to her workplace. In response, the external doors to the primary school were locked and staff were made aware of what had occurred in case there was an issue at the school. What does it take for a school to think that you are such a threat that they're basically going to lock down the school and lock all the external doors? I mean, that should give you a great insight into how scared Hannah was that she had to, like, could you imagine being a young lady? I'm not a young lady, I'm an older guy, but at her age, very early 20s, you have to go to work, talk to your business manager at your work and tell them how violent and abusive your partner, ex-partner, partner at the time has been to you, that they should lock all the doors on the exterior of your workplace. I can't imagine what that would have, like, how embarrassing for one that would have been, how extremely embarrassing to have to go into work and talk to someone who you know in a professional relationship and talk to them in this way and be like, look, my boyfriend's been abusing me. He's threatening to come here and do X, Y, and Z. I need some help. I'm worried that he's going to come here. And they're like, okay, we'll enact a lockdown of the property. And I mean, it's awful. Awful. Like it's we've read a lot of cases that have this type of behavior in it, but I don't know, it's just awful. It just really is. I was just trying to see, there was one other bit I wanted to read out for you. See, I we talk about this childish behavior. They say here, or Justice Eliot points out in one of his points here, point number 7, you performed burnouts with your car outside the front of the home of a friend of Hannah when you knew Hannah was staying there in an attempt to keep her distance from you. As a result of this intimidation, on the same night she moved covertly from this location to stay with another friend at an address you did not know. So he tracked her down to a place she was staying to get away from him, and he decided the best course of action was to get in his car and do burnouts out the front of the property. This made her feel unsafe, so that friend and her got her to another person's location where Lachlan didn't know where she would be at a second friend. You know, you think of some of the things I've been telling you. She had to tell her work, she had to tell her friends, she had to tell her family. it's infiltrated every part of her life, like tentacles on an octopus, just everywhere. Every small part of her life, she can't get away from it. It's everywhere. I mean, again, I can't imagine how embarrassed she would have been to have to ask for this help from her friends. Not that anyone should be embarrassed to ask for help, but I'm sure it was in a way embarrassing. Even though if you need help, and good friends will help you. They will never, make you feel like that. But I know what that internal feeling must feel like, because it's like, why me? Why can't I have a normal life? And why do I have to deal with all this? So I could understand. Um, some of the things he did to her was, it's almost like you're dealing with someone with the mentality of an 8-year-old, literally, like an 8-year-old. Going to someone's home and doing burnouts out the front because your girlfriend won't come back. It's bizarre. It's strange. Um, it's not cool. It's like, she's not going to see your burnouts and be like, "Oh my God, look how awesome, look how circular they are. I should call him. I think I've made a mistake." No, I don't think so. Let's see. All right. All right. I think that's a lot of it. There's a lot more here, but we've read through it. A lot of this dates back to a lot of the information that was through the trial, and we've read a ton of it out on this channel before, so I don't want to just repeat a bunch of stuff that we've already talked about. Um, so I'll leave it on this bit here. They talk about guilty pleas, and we were talking about this before, saying, I wonder what type of sentence or discount he may get for that guilty plea, even though it came very late in the trial, 9 days of the trial in totality. And Justice Elliott says here, there was a considerable amount of time that had transpired and resources had been expended before you pleaded guilty in front of the jury on the eighth day of the trial. The extent of the utilitarian value of your guilty plea and the admissions and plea that preceded it must be viewed in this light. So he's basically saying, you waited so long that there had been so many things, people's time, court resources, dragging witnesses in, the prosecution in, lawyers, barristers, solicitors, the family members, everyone got dragged around because you waited so long to plead guilty. And that is part of the reason why his guilty plea was very small, very, very tiny, did not get much of a discount at all. So I will finish it here with Justice Elliott and what he says here, up here. He says, taking each of the matters referred to above into account, including those in your favor, and balancing the factors set out in the Sentencing Act as best I am able, for the murder of Hannah McGuire, I sentence you to 28 years imprisonment. I fix a period of 22 years and 4 months imprisonment as a period you must serve before you become eligible for parole. And then he says here, I declare that, but for your plea of guilty, if you had been found guilty of murder after pleading not guilty, I would have imposed a sentence of 30 years imprisonment with a non-parole period of 24 years. And he'll have that 590 days of imprisonment taken off his sentence, and he'll be up for parole sometime. What would it be if we're in 2025, it would be it'd be 20. What is like 40, 49? What 2050? Would it be 2050 by the time he's up for parole? I think it might be. Yeah, 24. Might be like 2049 or something. Here, 20. Yeah, 20. I think it'll be 2049 or 2048 with the 590 days removed from that non-parole period. So I think 20, yeah, something like that. 20 2048. So I don't know where I'll be in 2048. I have no idea. Ping may not be on this earth anymore. I can't even tell you where I'll be tomorrow or this Sunday, but I can't tell you. I have no idea. That's not up to me. They're saying here, Hugney says, yep, not a lot of leniency there in that sentencing. Nope. He got a very minuscule discount for pleading guilty so late. Yeah, so I don't know where I'll be when he is up for parole. I don't know if I'll still be doing true crime a million years from now, but at least we won't probably have to hear from him much more. I don't know if he'll appeal. He has that 28 days from today to appeal if he wants to. He also, I think, has the extended time if he needs it, which ends up being double that. Like what happened in Aaron's case as well. He would have up to 56 days if his legal team needed it. So it would be, if it's the 18th today, it would be early next year. Early next year would be, when we would hear possibly about an appeal of anything for Lachlan Young. Uh, you would hope not. You would hope that part of his remorse would be that he would accept the sentence and serve his time in jail, but you never know. So we'll find out early next year. We'll find out early next year. Glad to sort of be done with this one. It's one of the most harrowing things I've ever read. Hugney says, "Can you appeal with a plea?" I think so, because you can appeal the sentence. He can't appeal anything to do with the trial because he pled. But I'm sure you could probably appeal. At least I would have thought so. Good work, Ping. This is why I'm not a lawyer. Let's see. I'm used to dealing with people who are found guilty. Yeah. Hmm. So yeah, I would have thought that you can appeal the sentence. That's the grounds that you would. That's the part that you would appeal. Most of the time, the reason they do it in this type of case would be that the sentence was manifestly excessive, and he would maybe appeal saying, um, Justice Elliott gave me too much time. I deserve a discount for X, Y, and Z, and that wasn't taken into account during sentencing. We would have to see, but you would hope he just takes the sentence and deals with it. I don't know if we'll get that lucky. Hugney says, I guess if the judge's sentencing is not in line with what other crimes in similar nature. Well, Justice Elliott did say in his sentence, I think he said each side had submitted different cases that had like a similar offending and had a certain range of sentences. So I think Justice Elliott tried to look at other cases to keep it in line. So I think they tried to do that. I don't know if they I'm not a lawyer. I don't know if they did it correctly or not. That's for the people who make a lot of money per year, not for me. That's for all the guys who are in court today. That's for the people in court. Let me have a look here. All right. Someone asked me about David earlier. It was Andrew. I have nothing about David at all. Nothing. Laurie, thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate it. Yeah, Andrew, there's nothing. There's no update. I don't know where these updates are coming from, but there is nothing about David. Like, it's been very, very quiet. I have no new information for you at all. Even if I go past 24 hours. Yeah, I doubt it. Hold on. There is something here. I'll listen to it quickly and I'll tell you if it's something we've already heard. Hold on. All right. I listened to the update from TMZ. Basically, they're saying nothing. They're saying nothing new. They said they checked in with the LAPD today and there's no update. It's the same type of going around in merry-go-round that we've been doing since September. There's nothing. Like he even says in the video, they don't have a person of interest really. They don't even know if it's a homicide. And he's saying he thinks they already have toxicology back by now, and that if it had anything compelling in there, they would have arrested someone. But there's no one been arrested. Those toxicology results have not been made public. And that's it. We don't know anything else. I don't know what's going to happen with the David case. I don't know if we're ever going to see anyone arrested. I don't know if we're ever going to find out a cause of death, whether it is a homicide, whether it is a overdose. I have no idea, but it's already November. We've been waiting since early September for anything, and the days just keep ticking by over and over, and it's just been like no update at all. Yes, that was the update from TMZ. Basically, they know nothing new. SP Mama, hey my friend, deep in the paint sounds like some sort of innuendo that the Gen Z kids say to people. They're like, "What are you doing tonight?" And the guy's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go see my girlfriend, and we're gonna get deep in the paint." And the friend's like, "Wow, that's awesome. You have a great time. Yeah, you have fun deep in the paint." Hugney says 90 days ideally for the ME report. It can be months. I think we've seen some that have been like 5 months, 7, 8, a year. It just depends. But they were saying on the TMZ thing, normally when it has a high profile attachment to the case, like the David one. They sort of want to get it done and dusted because they don't want the calls, the media, the emails, the pressure. So they just want to get it done, and so far nothing. Okay, is that what that's called? Damn Gen Z people. SP1 says painting the kids' room literally. Oh, okay. All right. Have fun with that. Why are you painting a kid's room for Thanksgiving? Are you putting like turkey, like hand turkeys, where like they put the hand and then they trace around it, and they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. That's what you're doing? You're only 44. You're Ping's age, so we can be old and not cool together. Yeah, so really no update in the David thing, guys. I don't know when we're going to hear anything back. About the only new stuff in the David thing is Steve. Steve's been doing the rounds on media for like the last 3.5 weeks, and he's the only thing I ever see pop up about any updates. They're like, Steve's been here on this radio station, Steve's been here on this newspaper, but there's never any new information. He's obviously not allowed to give it out right now, no matter how much people ask for it. So yeah, there's really no new information about it. All right, let me check here. There was another. Yeah, even in the Melody Buzzard case, we don't have any new information on that one either. Hold on. Let me check one other one that we've been keeping an eye on. Oh, hey. That guy. Do you remember I told you about a story about a week ago now about a guy called James Greg Powell of Canton? Oh, they found him. So that Georgia man, James Greg Powell, 61, he's been found deceased in Bartow County. Where is Bartow County? So he was in Cherokee County. Where is Bartow? All right, hold on. Wow, that's actually quite a while away. How did he get out there how on earth did he get? So he was found about 27 miles away in Bartow County, and he came from Cherokee County in Georgia. So I'm going to try find out what is going on here. Here, update missing person. On the evening of Friday, November 14, the Canton Police Department responded to an assist Bartow County authorities in confirming the identity of a deceased individual located in the Red Top Mountain area. The individual was positively identified as James Powell. At this time, there are no indications of foul play. The investigation is being handled by the Bartow County Coroner's Office and the GBI. How did he get out there? Did he catch an Uber? I'm so confused how he got that far away because he left his car in the parking lot. So I'm going to take you back. I'm going to do an update and we're going to watch it if we can.
Tonight, a sad update to a North Georgia missing persons case. Canton police can now confirm the body found near Red Top Mountain is 55-year-old James Powell, who has been missing for more than a week. Officers were called in Friday night to help Bartow County authorities confirm his identity. Investigators say there's no indication of foul play, but the Bartow County coroner and the GBI will determine the exact cause of death.
Well, Razorback fans,
All right, Razorback fans. I'm not a Razorback fan. Yeah, who will take care of the dog? He left his dog with a dog sitter and never came back. I'm just so confused about why did he leave his car behind? Why did he do that? I guess we'll never know. So he was found at Red Top Mountain. Red Top Mountain in Georgia. Geez, he was found ages away from home. The question is why? I'm just trying to zoom out. That's Atlanta. So the Red Top Mountain area is like over here, all through this river region. And he was found over down, was it down near here? I know he was found near the tennis center, a tennis court. I'm just trying to see if we can find it on the map. We might be in the wrong place, but he was found in Red Top. Hold on, where did he go missing from? Nope, that's not what we want. All right. Hold on, guys. I'm just trying to get to. Okay. All right. So he was missing from Canton. I'm just trying to find out on my map how far away we are from that location. Oh, okay. So it's not too far away. This is Red Top Mountain. He went missing from Canton over here. Maybe remember we spoke about the big river? There was like a really big river that connected to the tennis facility. Maybe he did get into that river and that's where they found the body. Because that river does seem to lead all through here. See? That big river system. And we said that if he got into this river, that maybe that's what happened. I mean, it's possible. I'm trying to find the tennis place that he was at. I feel like we're right next to it and I'm not seeing it. All right, I don't know why I can't find it. I'm pretty sure it's just up here somewhere and we're just not seeing it. But there was that off off the path here, you could get into this big river system that led to like here. And he wasn't found too far from here. I don't know if it's connected. I don't know if you can get all the way through. Can you? Yeah, you sort of can. So maybe he fell into the water and got washed down the river or the lake. I mean, he's been gone for about a week. That was the original theory, if you guys remember that. That was the original theory we came up with, was he took a shortcut through that wooded area and maybe fell into the river. Yeah, let me find.
Right now, rescue crews and volunteers
No.
in Marion County are searching for a law professor who hasn't been seen.
Nope. All right. So it's River Green Tennis Courts. That's where he was found. All right. tennis court. 111 Racket Club Drive. Nope. Georgia. Canton. Yep. There it is. There's the tennis court that we were. So that's where they found his car parked in here, in this car park. And then there was a way through, I think the house was up through here is where they found where he dropped off the dog. But there was a way through here. I don't know how he would have done it, but there is a connecting river system. I just want to double check if it's the same. Yeah, it is. So if you go all the way down here, all the way through here, you end up at the place where they found his body, Red Top Mountain. That's about the only connection between the two. And he didn't have his vehicle at the time. His vehicle was left behind. So maybe it's true. Maybe he did fall into that river. That's very sad. At least they found him. We'll have to find out whether he was found in the water or not. Yeah, no indications of foul play. That would go into that theory. They haven't said how they found his body. They just say Bartow County deputies found a man's body near Red Top Mountain. Where near Red Top Mountain? Where? And that would be a good thing to know. But look, hey, they found him. Sad update. Sometimes we don't get the update that we were hoping for. Sometimes we get the opposite. But at least we know the ending to that one. All right, what else do I have? Uh-huh. All right. We're going to head to Illinois. I'm guessing this is Illinois. If Ping can read. All right, let's go to this story.
A murder case is rocking the very small town of Vandalia. The Vandalia man accused of killing his 14-year-old Kylie Toberman appeared before a Fayette County judge today. Thank you for joining us. I'm Ann Allred.
And I'm Mike Bush. Her loved ones hearing the charges against him for the first time. Arnold Rivera now faces multiple felony charges of murder and sexual assault. Prosecutors laid out the chilling new details of how Rivera tried to cover up the murder in his RV in Vandalia. Our Megan Kernan has been following this story all weekend. She takes us inside the courtroom and gets reaction from family members.
I would have never guessed that he could be that type of person and that could happen in the small town of Vandalia.
A sense of betrayal echoed through the courtroom where family and friends listened in disbelief as prosecutors detailed how Arnold Rivera, the step-uncle to 14-year-old Kylie Toberman, is now accused of taking her life. Charging documents say Rivera sexually assaulted Kylie, strangled her with jumper cables, then hid her body in a tote inside his RV.
I am so disgusted, it's not funny.
We were just now educated of the manner of her death and the disrespect to her body. And it should have never happened.
Kylie was reported missing Friday morning. Just hours later, investigators found her behind her home on West Gallatin Street in Vandalia, inside a blue tote bag in Rivera's RV. Prosecutors say she was killed the day before. Charging documents say Rivera had been acting as Kylie's caretaker while her stepmother was undergoing medical treatment.
I think that Arnold was a disgusting man and that should have never happened. And I think that she was failed as a person.
Kylie was a student at Vandalia Junior High on the wrestling team and was recently voted most improved wrestler. Students here wore pink in memory of her today. Her school says she was taken far too soon.
Kylie was energetic and lovable, always happy, always wanted to be with us all.
It broke my heart because she shouldn't have had to gone through that. She was the sweetest, kindest person, and she had so much life left to live.
Reporting in Vandalia, Megan Kernan, 5 on your side.
Man, what is wrong with people? What the hell is wrong with people? So Kylie Tobin was reported missing from her Vandalia home hours before she was discovered dead in an RV behind her residence. They're saying here Arnold Rivera Jr., 43, a relative who lived in the RV, SA'd Kylie and strangled her with those jumper cables before stashing her body in a tote. At the time of her death, she was living with her adoptive mother and two sisters. Her biological mother said she did not deserve this. I agree. According to KTVI, they reported that in the year 2000, Rivera was charged in Mason County with burglary and essaying a child between the ages of 9 and 16, but the case was dismissed a year after the alleged incident took place. In this time, he's being charged with first-degree murder, aggravated criminal essay, and concealing a homicidal death. He remains in jail without a bond, but he was due in court today. Wait, hold on. Did we get a bond today? Let me check. Maybe we got a bond. I have a mugshot of him. Here's your mugshot of Arnold. And this is the man who did this to this young girl. Let's see what we can find here. So he was due in court today on Monday. They're saying he's being held in Fayette County Jail, but I don't have any information about a bond. Yeah, no information about a bond right now. But that girl was 14 years old. And brutal, just brutal. 14. And this absolute subhuman monster, Arnold B. Rivera, strangled her with jumper cables, probably to cover up what he was doing to her. So the essay that he was doing to her, that's probably what he was trying to cover up. What an awful, awful guy. Some of these crimes you hear about, and you go, what do they do? Do they sit in wait for 30 years, waiting on a victim, and then they get the opportunity that they're looking for, and it's like, rah, and they attack? Like, what was he doing for the last 30 years since he had that charge or allegation in the year 2000 in Mason County with the essaying a child back then, but it never went to trial. So what was he doing in the last 30 years? He's already shown a profile for doing this to underage people. Has he done it to anyone else? That's what we need to find out. Before this young girl, was there anyone else? Because I don't think he just sat dormant since the year 2000. I don't think so. I feel like he's probably got more victims. Let's see. Arnold Rivera Jr., hey? Let's see what else we can find about him.
A man accused of killing a 14-year-old girl in central Illinois faces a judge today.
All right, yeah, I can't seem to find a bond on him, so maybe it got revoked. No idea, but no one's listing a he did go to court today, but no bond. Don't know why. I can't see. Let's see. Yeah. He was supposed to be arraigned today, but there was no update. Why? I'm not sure. I'm just trying to have a look. Nah, I'm not sure. I am not sure why that has not been done. Hmm. All right. I'm just trying to look up one of the reporters who was doing the case today, and I'm just trying to see whether they have a better update or not. Hmm. A bit strange. One of the reporters posted an update 7 hours ago, but they took it down. I'm gonna try email her. Her name is Haley Kirby, and she works for the news station in the local area. I'm gonna try email her and try find out what is going on with that particular case. So hopefully I'll know by the next time we see each other. And yeah. Hey JDR, how are you, my friend? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you would think if he made a bond, it would be everywhere by now. So maybe he got his arraignment postponed. That does happen too. Okay. All right. I'm gonna get you out of here. You got your update about Hannah, and you got your update about Mr. Lachlan. You got your sentence. 28 years on the top end, 22.4 on the bottom. Basically, he has 22.4 years before he can even look at parole, and he will be in his early 40s when that happens. I don't know if I'm going to be back for a late show tonight. I will try my best, but being that I'm still very under the weather from this cold I had over the weekend, I may try and get some more sleep. I hate to sound lazy, but I'm just exhausted constantly. So hopefully I'll feel a bit better tomorrow, and we'll be back tomorrow. Hey, I love you guys so much. Laurie, thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate it. And I'll check the other one. I didn't hear it go off during the show. Hey, I want to thank Sean for sending one in yesterday, late last night yesterday. So thank you to Sean. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I will. I'll feel better. I'll feel better soon. All right. Good night. Have fun with Trish. She'll be on in like 10 minutes or so over at Web Sleuths. Good night, everyone. Bye.